Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mama Wears Athleisure. I am your host, Mariela de Santiago, a first-time mom. We focus on all things mom with tips to help make life easier and more organized for all you mamas out there. Hi, today I am here with Kristen from Heartfed, and we're going to talk a little bit about postpartum nutrition.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. Always love, building community, meeting new people, and of course, sharing some of the knowledge that I wish I had during my pregnancy and postpartum stage. But my name is Kristen Vucinich, and I run a company, Heartfed, where we support moms through their pregnancy and postpartum journey with a focus on nutrition. So we're really looking at nutrient stores to help support symptoms, prepare them for postpartum, decrease any risks for mom and for baby. And a big reason we got into Heartfed and started this company is we just realized that there is quite the gap in nutritional care that moms are currently given, and a lot of confusion about food, both during your pregnancy and your postpartum experience, and how that really affects mom and baby long term. So now we're here just trying to fill that gap and help as many moms as we can to feel their best.
Very good points, because you definitely don't get I don't think that I got any info on what I should or shouldn't eat. I'm also plant-based, so I did a lot of that research and learning on my own. So I just kind of want to jump straight into it. So how can nutrition affect a mama postpartum?
Regardless if you're pregnant or postpartum, nutrition plays a role in our health. But specifically, when we're talking about moms and their maternal health, it really affects them both during pregnancy and postpartum for their physical health and their mental health. So, of course, physically, the way that we're consuming foods is going to fuel our body to give us that energy that we need for that movement, those proteins helping our muscles. But the big thing that I often see with my clients is realizing that nutrition plays a huge role in our mental health too, which shifts a lot throughout motherhood. Earlier, we are just talking about some of the things that come up with motherhood and some of like the anxiousness we can have, whether it's during pregnancy or during postpartum or even when your kids are a little bit older, and just trying to figure out all the shifts. And one of the biggest things that nutrition can do for moms is really help support that so that we can be present in the time of our children, regardless of the stage, and be present in the time for ourselves to focus and prioritize on our health. All in all, nutrition plays a role for moms, both in their physical health and their mental health, helping support their symptoms during pregnancy and postpartum, digestive issues, and of course, milk supply as well.
What should they consider in order to stay healthy postpartum?
For every person, it changes. So some of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to be more of like some general information. As you mentioned, if you follow a certain diet, some of these recommendations might vary because your nutrient needs vary per individual. And that's same thing for like supplements too. It's going to be a supplement for your diet. But as a general rule of thumb, some of the things that we want to focus on during our postpartum journey is really finding foods that fuel our body, make us feel our best, and really are going to help support balancing our blood sugar levels. If you have followed Heartfed before, two of my biggest things about our health are going to be balancing those blood sugar levels and also loving on your digestive system and really supporting your gut. And so when you're asking, what should people consider to stay healthy postpartum? Those would be the first two things we would look at. What kind of foods are you creating and what kind of balance do you have on your plate to balance that blood sugar? And then are those foods also going to help support your gut health? The reason that I say that too is because your gut health, as mentioned earlier, we want to focus health is both physical and mental. And so when we're talking about your gut health, your gut and your brain are connected. And so how we are consuming foods affects both sides of the spectrum. So
Very good points about, food totally affects how you feel and also your energy level. I feel like when I am in a rush and we have to stop somewhere and just kind of get takeout or something, you definitely feel a little bit more like low energy versus when I actually add a lot of veggies and color just to my meal. I'm a lot more energized and feel like I can get a lot more done. With all of that, how would a person's diet or nutrition affect their milk supply? And with that, like what are maybe some things to consider consuming to help support that milk supply?
yeah, I think the biggest thing is oftentimes as new moms, your body has gone through so much transition and growing a child, carrying a child, laboring, birthing, and now you're also using your body to keep them alive. And I think oftentimes we have this mentality of having some fear around food postpartum because our bodies have shifted and changed. And I see a lot of people trying to, cut their calories or eat low carb. And especially if you are breastfeeding, those are things that I don't recommend because during the postpartum stage, your nutrient needs actually increase even more so than they did during your pregnancy. So we want to make sure that we are actually consuming more food than you probably think you need to be, because both for the recovery, but also your body is going under so much stress, so much work to create and produce that milk over and over and over again. So we want to make sure that you're getting carbohydrates, and carbohydrates mainly because carbohydrates, when you consume them, they turn into a starch, which then throughout all the processes breaks down into lactose, which is the sugars in milk, in breast milk. So you want to make sure you're consuming carbohydrates. You also want to make sure that you're consuming healthy fats, both for yourself, but studies have shown that healthy fats and trans fats, which are something that, you want to limit or avoid when possible, but the fats that you consume are directly related to the fats that then we see tested in breast milk. So if you're eating fats like omega-3s with DHA, so that'd be like your salmon, sardines, even some nuts and seeds, those things are going to directly relate into those fats for your little one through the breast milk too. So we want to make sure that we're consuming enough and consuming a lot of those healthier choices. And then also we have what's called galactagogues or lactogenic foods. I will caveat this with consuming specific foods isn't necessarily going to increase your milk supply long-term. The best things to continue a healthy breastfeeding journey. If you need to see a lactation consultant, you can of course do that, but offering the breast often, making sure you're staying hydrated, making sure if you are choosing to pump, finding ones that are accurate and the right times to pump. But these foods can help support your milk supply. So some of those foods would be asparagus, carrots, beets, oatmeal is really great, garlic, and then some herbs as well. So like we have fennel, red raspberry leaf tea, often people like to consume, turmeric, sweet potatoes. There's a whole list. You can even look up foods that can help support your milk supply. And so those will all be great, but ultimately you want to make sure that you're eating enough in general and staying hydrated to keep that milk supply up.
I remember just always feeling so thirsty. I had to carry a water bottle around with me and also so hungry, even still. And so the fact that you said carbs, I love my pasta and my pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's place for that. I mean, there's space for that in everybody's diet, but especially in the postpartum time period, because you need to be consuming those foods, one for the health, but also like think about your mental health. Sometimes you just need to grab what's easy and that's going to make you feel calm and happy and relaxed, because having stress around food or stress around planning can actually cause a lot of damage to our health as well. So just keeping that in mind that, ask for help, ask your friends to bring you food. What if there's something you're craving, eat it.
Yeah. Or if somebody has the time to kind of just make some quick, easy meals like overnight oats or anything that they can just freeze and grab on the go on their way to go feed their little, that's always so helpful so that you're not sitting there for 30 to 40 minutes thinking about when you're going to be able to eat your cold meal next.
Right. Yes. And also too, I mean, on that note, building that village even before your kiddo comes is so huge. And I have clients too that we create some of their favorite recipes and then print those and give them out at baby showers to be like, hey, if you really want to help, like, thank you. A, thank you for coming to my baby shower. B, something that we would love is like everyone take one of the recipe sheets. And then when baby comes, this is what you're going to make to bring the family. And so they kind of already have this meal train set up in that sense. And oftentimes there'll be things that can be used for multiple, they can use for meals or for snacks. So how you're talking about overnight oats, or lots of times we have different energy bites or power balls or muffins, things that are just easily accessible that take time off of the mom, but are really, they go far in terms of being the new mom, not having to take time to recreate the wheel every day with food.
That is such a really good idea to create this little kind of meal train at the baby shower. I never thought of that. What I did before my son arrived was I made a few different casseroles and then I just froze them. That way, when he was here, I would just kind of pop one in the oven and I had, probably like 6 ready to go. That was
Mhm.
so helpful. And then just like a list of easy to make meals. And I also just had to be okay with knowing that I was going to have to buy pre-cut vegetables, like something that I never did before. But, it saves me time and it allows me to have all the veggies rather than having to settle for a frozen meal or the other alternative, which is sometimes you end up skipping a meal because there's nothing easy to eat. And that's definitely not good when you're breastfeeding.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes that happens, but you do feel for lack of a better word, like the repercussions of that. Like you were mentioning when you feel so tired, because what's happening is when you're skipping those meals, it does change your blood sugar levels too. And so your body eventually is going to be like, hey, you need to eat something. Like I feel like I'm having to barely survive right now. And so that's when you're reaching for that easy, typically less nutrient dense food of your body's just like get something inside, which creates, that whole hamster wheel going round and round. Like now you're eating something that maybe is not fueling you. So you're still hungry. So you're still reaching for something to fuel you. And so really trying to find, and for any new moms listening right now, like I 100% get it. It is so hard to remember to do anything, especially when you're in the thick of it. But doing your best to remind yourself that if you are prioritizing your own nutrition right now, that's going to go so far for how you're feeling in the moment and how you're feeling in 3 weeks, 3 months, even 3 years, because you're really fueling your body during that recovery stage. And it's also supporting your little ones' health too, whether you're breastfeeding or not, because of course, as we mentioned, there's a lot of things that are important to consume while you're breastfeeding. But if you're choosing not to, everything that you're doing still impacts your little one. So how your stress is, which is very much tied into your nutrition, how your sleep is, how you're able to be present, and your energy levels. So just knowing that even though it's hard, taking time for yourself to prioritize a nutrition plan for you is going to be helpful for your whole family.
Actually, that brings me to my next question. So, given that not everyone is breastfeeding, what should parents or moms consider eating to keep up with that energy and be able to run around after either a crawling baby or a toddler that's running around in circles?
Yeah, great question. So kind of how we mentioned before, like making sure you're staying hydrated, because hydration, water, that's really going to be one of the biggest foundations to help get all of your vitamins and minerals moving throughout your body, being able to be transferred here and there. And it's going to support your digestive system because you need that hydration to have proper bowel movements too. So staying hydrated, also focusing on that gut health with fiber, probiotic rich foods, because so your gut microbiome is going to be what helps support your overall health, whether it's physical or mental. And so we want to make sure if your gut isn't functioning properly, then that's going to take your energy levels down. That's going to create fatigue. That's going to create more difficulty for other vitamins and minerals to be transported. So things like kimchi, sauerkraut, probiotic rich yogurt, which again, if you are a busy mom, go out, find a yogurt that you enjoy the flavor, that doesn't have a ton of added sugars, and just buy those individual sized portion ones, because then you're not having to scoop anything out. You're not having to do any dishes. You literally just pop out a little yogurt, eat it, throw it in the trash, and you're done. And you're getting in protein with that. You're getting in probiotic rich, good gut bugs for your health, and you're still getting that snack in. So hydration, fiber and probiotics, and then of course, making sure you're getting enough protein and carbohydrates, really balancing that your plates out to maintain your blood sugar levels so you're not having crazy spikes and drops, because when you feel fatigue, that's what's happening is your blood sugar is dropping. It's having a hard time.
I know we've kind of already touched on this a little, but I kind of want to bring it back to see if you have any good strategies or ideas for quick, easy, healthy, filling, and ready to eat meals, whether those are maybe some possible easy to make recipes or something to grab in the frozen section, especially because I feel like most parents are sleep deprived, or maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, a couple things like pop into mind. One, earlier we were talking about how to kind of like prepare for some things. And oftentimes we'll tell people make little smoothie bags. But at the same time, if you are super busy and you don't have time to do that, they now have, I know at least Costco has in their like frozen fruit and veggie aisle, They have huge packages of smoothie mix, but then inside is individually packaged. And there's kale, bananas, strawberries, blueberries, like all these different things inside. So having that on hand, so then in the morning or in the afternoon, you just pop that into a little blender with water or milk, and you have a quick, easy, nutrient dense meal. Also, getting simple things, whether it's pre-cooked and cut chicken breast. That's something that you can just eat as a snack. You can throw it into a salad. And as I mentioned before, if you don't have time to make a salad, don't worry about it. Get a bag of salad. And then you have that super easy. If you have the chicken as well, just pop that in so you have that protein and you have that diversity. For less like meal stuff, for just quick snacks, just trying to find again that balance of your blood sugar. So making sure you're pairing some protein with whatever else you're having. So having string cheese on hand, and have a string cheese and a piece of fruit while you're on the go. I don't know if you're familiar with the company Mama Bar. They have a variety of different bars that are specific to kind of fuel and bring in a lot of like the necessary nutrients that we need throughout pregnancy and postpartum. So Mama Bars are great on hand, have a high amount of protein as well. And really, like I said, just anything that you're feeling like your body needs, but adding in some type of protein or fat if you don't already have that, to make sure that you're stabilizing that blood sugar, is going to keep your energy up and keep you fueled for a longer period of time.
Well, finally, do you have any other tips, suggestions, or recommendations on postpartum nutrition or even prenatal nutrition?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is don't hesitate to reach out, whether it's questions about nutrition for myself, or if you have anything else throughout your pregnancy or postpartum that you're unsure of or you're experiencing symptoms. A lot of time right now, I feel our culture is very open about things being common, which is great. Like people are starting to talk about a lot of their obstacles and difficulties that they have, but that doesn't mean that they're normal. So it doesn't mean that even people are experiencing, doesn't mean that you have to experience it or that you have to continue to experience it. So asking for help. And then also, if you are someone that's looking into nutrition in general, happy to help, but specifically too, if you follow certain diets and you're not sure how to fill those gaps, we can do that here at Heartfed to help support you. And we also do have a pregnancy program, which is our signature program, because a lot of the times the obstacles that we see in postpartum are based on some of the things that we could have avoided during our pregnancy. So different nutrient deficiencies and gaps that we want to fill before they become a problem.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time and chatting with us about nutrition. I love talking about this, so I could definitely go on for a lot longer than 20 minutes, but just being able to get this little snippet from you is so helpful.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and wishing all the mamas out there the best and so much love.
Thank you for listening. Tune in next week for our next episode. You can find us on Instagram for more updates and tips. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and give us a review if you like us.